There is no option for you guys. You guys hate every single option. And I guess it's fair because there's no great option for this team.
Are we wrong?
If they're going to stand pat like you guys want them to, Grant's going to start playing a lot because he's going to need to be part of that rotation.
Okay, I'll ask you this now. Was PJ Tucker worth a first-round pick to you? On this team?
Maybe.
And again, I recognize first-round picks might turn into nothing. Are you kidding me? You'd give up a first-round pick for PJ Tucker on this team right now to do what?
I would
finish 4 games over 500? What is that going to do for you?
Well, they flipped first-round picks, right? Isn't that how it went, kind of? Like, they traded a pick for –
is that it?
I think
that's what you meant by maybe. You may give up a first-round pick.
Ugh. Trevor Ariza. Bobby's so upset about that.
Just because the cost is so low. All you hear from the Celtics is the prices are high around the league. And then you see a second rounder and Myers Leonard get that done. I'm not saying Trevor Ariza would change the Celtics, but it just goes to show there's certain moves, there's certain swap outs that you could do on this roster here if you're willing to give up picks. And that's why I keep going back to picks.
PJ
what are you doing with those?
0.0 difference.
Hey, let's see how he does on the Bucks because I think it's pretty evident he hasn't committed to the Rockets this year, and they had to send him home because of that. Although there's a case that he could be done. He was pretty bad this year.
Dude, that guy's got a YMCA body. You know, like he makes Grant look good.
I mean, Danny's pretty much already said that. Like he knows that they're further away than what bringing in a bench guy is going to do. So he's not going to make a trade like that. He's pretty much told you that. Like he goes on the radio and says like, yeah, we're probably not going to do that. Like we
gain though. Yeah, because there is a case that one of those guys would be better than one of the Celtics bench guys. Certainly Teague, as we toss his name around. How many different guys would you like to swap out Teague for? Point guards in particular. Like, think of swapping out Teague for George Hill. And we're going to get into smaller names at this point because we're
Who's doing that?
Thunder want a lot of picks. Just start sending those picks out.
It's exhausting. Talking about these trades. Who's going to take?
I got a whole bag of ideas back here.
Who's going to take Grant or Teague from you? This is like I said, these are WEI.
The Thunder just took Myers Leonard.
This is a WEI collar trade.
Strictly for cap purposes.
There's a reason Trevor Ariza is on his 10th team, guys. Okay.
Yeah, he's old.
Desperation move though. That's what it is.
I saw him in the locker room probably about a year ago, right before the pandemic ended, and he wasn't playing with that Blazers team, and he was just kind of walking around looking like a coach. I was like, is this guy still playing?
He's like Haslam, right?
Yeah, exactly.
He's the new Haslam.
I mean, he was on that 2009 Lakers team. He's been around forever.
Wow. I covered that series.
No, that was the Magic Lakers series.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh, that's what I thought you were talking about. 2009.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Man.
Anyways.
You really crazy about Trevor Ariza? I'm kind of surprised.
No, I think what Bobby's saying, Bobby's not really crazy about Trevor Ariza.
Hold on. I should reference that by saying after
I'm taking 30.
Our Thaddeus Young conversation. After our Thaddeus Young conversation, I'm surprised.
So Thad Young's a name I dug a little bit on today around Bulls circles, and if you look at the standings, the Bulls are a game behind the Celtics, and after tonight, depending on how the Bulls game went, I mean, they could be a half game back of the Celtics. So why are the Bulls selling to the Celtics when they might be better than the Celtics? I mean, particularly offensively, the Bulls have a top 10 real deal offense. They fully believe they're going to make these playoffs with Billy Donovan in there and Zach LaVine playing at a near all-NBA level. So Thad Young train might be dead because the Bulls might be better than the Celtics.
Right. I mean, when those Thad Young rumors were kind of coming around, nobody was anticipating the Bulls and the Celtics like flipping, spots, I guess, in the standings, right? If the Bulls are all of a sudden going from a pretender to a team that's trying to make the playoffs, then, maybe you're right. Maybe they're not trying to be sellers. Maybe they are going to stand pat and try to build something.
Let me put this in perspective right now, because this is where the Celtics are. They are tied with the Hawks for the 6th seed. So they're in the 7th seed with the tiebreaker. And they're a half game up on the Knicks, who are the 8th seed. And then the Bulls are just a game and a half back. They end up losing tonight. So they are legitimately on the edge of the playoffs. If you're that 7 or 8 seed this year, right, you're playing that play-in round. So you might not even get into the playoffs if you're in that 7 or 8 seed. That's where this team is right now.
Look, right now, I'm not going to get hung up. I'm not going to get too hung up on like a game or two. I mean, this ahead of you, and they're the 4th seed. So, I mean, really anything can change. But your point being, there's a lot of teams sort of with a chance to make these playoffs. So you might even have less sellers than you typically would. I don't know. I mean, even the Cavs. I mean, as bad as they are, they're not out of the playoffs. Even
they're further out of it than some of these teams.
Yeah, but Bobby,
like
a week ago, the Heat were like 11th.
Yeah, no, you can turn it around, but I don't envision that being the Cavs. I don't envision that being the Wizards. But there are teams like the Raptors, like the Bulls, who you could easily see making the playoffs. And at this point, like, I don't want to go here, but could those teams overtake the Celtics?
Yes.
Like, do we have to start thinking about the Celtics maybe not making the playoffs? Is that a possibility here?
I think that's a conversation we'll have after the deadline, after the trade deadline.
Definitely a possibility, though. I mean, think about it. They're one injury away from being.
They're a legit injury away for that happening. Yeah.
John's like, what did I walk into? What conversation?
At that point, what happened? And what's the difference between making the playoffs and losing in that play-in round?
Another Aaron Nesmith.
Yeah.
Another 14 pick and another shot at a Nesmith type player.
So right now the Celtics would be picking 16th. So they can start sinking below that.
That's a James Young.
Everyone pay very close attention to the March Madness starting tomorrow because
I only watch when the Celtics have a good pick.
Right.
Here we go.
You might have a better pick than you think.